Hello, Year 8s. This is Mr. Blake. Just wanting to go through your first assessment task for digital technologies. So I've attached this file to our sector lesson. I just wanted to go through it with you so that you all have an understanding of what is expected of you in this first assessment task. So essentially, the front page here describes the purpose and description. So essentially, it gives you an opportunity to display your understanding and knowledge about PowerPoint animation. You'll apply your knowledge through your own presentation that you submit. So it's an expectation that you work through all the sections and you should check your presentation for errors prior to submitting. And you're required to complete each section and answer in full. So, you don't have a lot of time to work on this task, but it also shouldn't be a task that will take you a whole lot of time to complete, particularly if you do your planning effectively. So, we'll aim for you to complete this task by the end of week 2. If we get close to the end of week 2 and we maybe just need a little bit more time, I may extend it to the start of week 3 because we missed a double lesson on Monday because it was a pupil-free day. The ACARA standards that you are addressing in this task are outlined here, not overly important. These are the performance standards that you get marked against for this assignment. So your ability to use design principles, techniques, and tools in your PowerPoint, your collection and authentication of data to help you make judgments on the use of technologies. So that's in part about the information that you collect and reference that you are putting into your presentation, showing that you have comprehensively planned and designed your content prior to actually producing your product, your PowerPoint. So we're going to talk a bit about storyboarding and how that will work. The actual creation of your digital solution, so that's essentially your PowerPoint. How effective is it in its functioning? And then the visual representation of your technologies and procedures through the format of PowerPoint. So how visually appealing and effective have you made your work? So essentially what your task is you are going to make a useful PowerPoint that explains a particular idea, concept, or experience using animations. Now, the choice that you have of what kind of idea, concept, or experience you have is completely up to you. It just needs to be school appropriate. If you want to explain something to do with a sport that you play, if you want to explain to me the concept of a movie, if you want to tell me how a car engine works, if you want to tell me, if you want to educate me about a topic that you're learning about in one of your other subjects, it can really be anything that you want as long as it is school appropriate. So obviously when I say school appropriate, can't be anything that's violent or graphic or anything that you wouldn't feel comfortable talking to a teacher about is what you should not be including in your PowerPoint. So, the description says there would be no doubt that you have viewed many PowerPoint presentations over the years of your schooling, and it would also be the case that most of them were uninspiring to look at and poorly designed. Your challenge for this assignment is to create a PowerPoint presentation on a topic of your choice where you explain something to your audience. So, there are a few things that you need to remember before starting to think about this in detail. What you need to do first is choose what concept, idea, or experience you want to educate me on in your PowerPoint. Now, it can be something that I already know about, but just pretend it is something that I have no idea about. Try to keep your idea simple at this stage. You can make it more complex later on if you have time. I don't want you to be trying to explain the meaning of life, which I don't think anyone really can. So once this is completed and you have decided what your idea will be, you will create a storyboard that shows what your slides will look like. So you're going to essentially It says use PowerPoint there, but I don't mind. It's probably better if you do it on paper or a Word document where you can explain what your work in your PowerPoint will actually look like eventually. So notes explaining what you want to have on each page would be useful. Try to not have too much information on each of your slides. You don't want to have more than 25 words per slide. Start collecting any relevant images that you think would be useful that you want to include, and you can maybe show those on your storyboards as well, but it's okay if you don't. Indicate what animations you might like to use on each slide. This is really important. So you need to show me what things will go where and outline to me what kind of animations you think would be suitable to make the content either more interactive or appear at different stages. So as a guide, you shouldn't have more than 2 to 3 animations per slide, otherwise it becomes a bit too much of a distraction. You should also show me, your teacher, before you proceed after completing your storyboard. So once you have complete your storyboard and I have had a look at it and approved it, what I would suggest you do is then convert each of your storyboard slides or pages or sections into the information that you actually want to show and then add your animations. So if you do your planning and storyboarding well, it shouldn't take you long to actually lay out and design or put everything into your PowerPoint itself. Once you've finished, I want you to show your PowerPoint to other members of the class to get some feedback. I want you to try to document that feedback as well. Have them maybe write a couple of notes or tell you what they think and you write down those thoughts. These suggestions, summarize them at the end of your PowerPoint on a final slide. What is the feedback that other people gave you? You can then add your own reflections, see if you agree with what they said or if you can justify the reasons for the decisions that you've made that people have said maybe you disagree with. And for a higher grade, ideally try to make some changes based on your animation that reflect the feedback. So if a few people have all said that you've used too many animations, it's too distracting, then you might want to, tone it back a little bit. So yeah, that is the explanation of your assessment task. I'll create another video that goes through and talks to you about storyboarding and also create one that talks about the different types of animations that you could include in your assignment. But yeah, if you have any questions, make sure that you send me an email. Thank you.